Man, the Xbox Scorpio, this is kind of a confusing console right now. The reason being is because it's so many things that's being said about what is gonna be, what's gonna happen with the hardware. The hardware is supposed to be powerful, blah blah blah. We all know that it's supposed to be a great console. But what, what I'm saying, is Phil Spencer and the company talking about what they're gonna do with it. If they're talking about making one kind of game or one version of the game that has the same settings and the resolution just scales differently, that ain't no good thing. To me, you make a game that runs at dynamic resolution at 30 frames per second, and then scales to, excuse me, that scales to 4K, and then still runs at 30 frames. That's not cool, man. That's not cool at all. Or if you have a game that's already released on Xbox One that runs at 30 frames, they can see an improvement because of the hardware. Maybe at like 1080p, it can run at 60 now with that hardware with the Scorpio. But then, are they gonna make those changes? You know what I'm saying? I feel them on not leaving the old Xbox behind, which is admirable. But maybe they should invest in making two versions of the game, I guess, or maybe they could do something like PC where they make a game with different kind of hardware, and then they make it so the software, I guess, can scale to it. That's a possibility, but I guess it's just more work for the developers. But it would just suck, man, to have a Scorpio, hardware that's capable of putting some games at 4K, and then you can't take advantage of it. Excuse me, man. I'm sitting up here at work, kind of sleepy. But it's that bothers me, man. Like, I don't really want an Xbox, but I've been a console dude since I've been gaming, and sometimes I do find myself wanting to get one. And so now that they're coming out with the Scorpio, I know I'm not finna get an Xbox One now, or a PS4. I'm gonna wait for the PS4 Neo. But it's just how they decide to develop for these consoles. Especially, I've been playing on PC, and I love the PC, the way PC works for a lot of games. But I sometimes just miss that console stuff, which is cool. But if you can't at least reach 60 frames at 1080p, and you got this new hardware that's able to do it, or that's coming out that's able to do it, then y'all should go back and retool some of these games so that they take advantage of that hardware. And then if you can go to 4K, do that too. But I think the 60 FPS, man, is the most important thing. They could stop at 1440p, and that would be a cool improvement for those people that have monitors that can do it. Because honestly, I haven't seen many TVs, well, any TVs that do 1440p. Mainly just monitors or gaming monitors that do it. But it just doesn't make sense to me, that Scorpio gonna come out like this and be like, yeah, man, we just gonna, keep it 30. We gonna keep it 30 frames or whatever it's been on the regular Xbox One. It's gonna be the same thing on Scorpio. You ain't gonna see no advantage unless you plug it into a 4K TV. Then the power kicks in, but you still getting that same 30 frames and probably maybe the same kind of graphics that it was showing at 900p or whatever the game was rendered at before. You just seeing it at 4K. Honestly, I guess the 4K resolution is a cool addition. That's fine, but I want that frame rate too, man. 1080p is like the staple right now. I don't see 4K being a viable option for a long time, especially gaming. If you play with 4K like on PC, I mean, even it's many videos and people out there that'll tell you, it still ain't necessarily optimized. Games aren't necessarily optimized for 4K. Even the competitive sports, man, them folks don't play at their resolution. They play at 1080p mostly. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even less. But it's just a performance thing. Also, you want it to look good, and 1080p right now is, I guess, the sweet spot for the most part. And 1440p is coming along too. But it's just so many things that may be going against 4K, like lag the way things fit on the screen when you at 4K. Stuff just ain't necessarily, I don't think hardware and even a lot of software just is not ready for that 4K resolution just yet. But people can go after it. That's fine. Ain't no issue with it. I'm just saying what I've seen from 4K so far. But anyway, the Scorpio, that was pretty much it. Just my thoughts about it. They need to put the stuff out so that there's no confusion. But I guess with it being so far away, over a year from coming out, they got plenty of time to leak things out and information out as time goes on. But if they've already started talking about it, like what they did at E3, they kind of need to clarify some things. But all right, I'm out.